Here we are with a channel update on Project Smurf Juice for the plans on 2020 race season. Before we get into that, we'll do a little recap on 2019. We were finally able to pass tech at our local track after we did fuel cell removal, put a stock tank underneath of it, also put a sump on that tank and fuel line and a MagnaFuel 500 pump and wiring. What else did we do? We put a fuel log with two regulators, one for the carb and one for the nitrous, of course. We also put a passenger seat in it, so with all those modifications and updates, I would say we had to have added at least 150-200 pounds to this build into late 2019-2020, you know, so it's going to be 150-200 pounds heavier than it was previous. We were able to even knock off some ET with our new nitrous outlet Stinger 2 plate over the old bar style plate running the same horsepower shot. Some things that we would like to address for 2020 is the coolant system. Right now it's running this BBC conversion, and the previous owner put these hardware / pipe type fittings in there for the upper thermostat, and I think that's kind of restricting it because we're having temp issues. Right now we can get it up to about 180, 190 cruising down the road 15-20 miles, no problem, but if you try to lay into it, it jumps up to 220. But as soon as you go back down to cruising, it'll cool back down. Theory behind that is a stock mechanical water pump at 6,500 RPMs flows between 65 and 70 gallons per minute. Well, this BBC water pump only flows 35 gallons per minute. So under load, I feel this pump is just not exchanging the fluid fast enough, because even a factory one is moving more fluid at wide open throttle than this is. So there, it has to be a reason. So we're gonna address that 2020 with a 55 gallon per minute electric water pump and redo all of this hardware pipe fitting, hose clamps and stuff with AN fittings and just clean it up all together. And other plans we got coming up is right now we are running 317 LQ4 heads on this LQ4. So stock heads, just valve springs. And so we've been hunting for some parts over the winter. So what I've been hunting for is some heads, and I've come across two sets. I've come across a set of 799s and a set of 862s. I know the 862s are a 61 roughly combustion chamber, maybe a little bit bigger, between 61 and let's say 63, somewheres in there. You know, because I've heard mixed answers between this, and I get it, between castings and the 799 heads, which have a little bit better flow characteristics but slightly bigger cc combustion chambers, like a 64 to 66, let's say. So what I have thought about doing is either having those heads milled, the 799 heads milled down to 61 combustion chamber, so I can get the same combustion chamber as the 862s and take advantage of the flow characteristics of the 799s because of the fact that I am spraying nitrous on this build. Or I could just, slap them on with a set of valve springs and put a set of head gaskets on it and achieve just, a 10 to 1 roughly compression. And I've also thought about checking piston to valve clearance, so I ordered these parts off of Summit. Here's the part number. It's a checking spring, a set of them. And I also ordered this, let it focus here. Push rod length checker, there's the part number on that. Ordered those through Summit so I can check piston to valve clearance. So I can run between a 40 thousandths and a 28 thousandths, I think, is the smallest thickness head gasket at BTR carries, because I planned on ordering it through BTR or Summit, because I go through both places, just to try to get them on and get me that 10 to something compression to kind of complement the LS3 cam that I'm running, since they're based off of a factory 10.5 compression, But after doing some talking, I might end up milling these to a 61cc combustion chamber and still check piston to valve clearance and maybe, still run a 40 thousandths head gasket or whatever, I can fit on there. If it has to be a factory thickness, then that's what I'll do. Something else we want to address this 2020 is we got a little bit of rust on this build that I just haven't got to. We'll get under here, and there's one of the spots on the driver's side in front of the wheel. And here's another one right under the driver's door. I'd say 3 to 4 inch patch panel is what that one will take. And we also got rust on the passenger side. Since there's not very much light over there, I'll just kind of explain it over here, what's going on over on the passenger side. Basically from like right here down to there is just rotted right out. It's gone. And over on the passenger side also, from like right here to right there is just rotted out also. So what I ended up doing is going to my local body shop supply panel that we have locally here, and I bought these patch panels. And we're going to spend this 2020 at least getting the rust fixed. I don't know if we'll get it painted, but we'll get it primed and at least covered up so it's protected. But that's the plans for 2020. I'm definitely going to do a head swap on this. Like I said, I'm going to use the 799s because of the fact that they got better flow characteristics versus the 862, even though they got the smaller combustion chamber. Only because of the fact that I'm going to be running nitrous. So I want to make sure that I have that flow for the nitrous gas to get out also. If you have any questions about the build, just ask away, or if you have any tips that you think it would be useful, just let me know. Other things that I'll be adding to the channel is I got a cold start coming on a 1947 Studebaker that's been in the family for 30 plus years, and it's been sitting in our barn. So I plan on getting that all started up. and running this 2020. I don't know if I'll get it road legal and driving down the road because it has rust buildup in the tank, so it'll need that fixed. But look out for that video in the near future. This is just a channel update right now, and like